Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Panda and Alex Complain About Steven Universe. Name still pending. It probably has changed every episode since the first one. How are you
Probably,
doing,
yeah.
Alex?
How am I? I'm doing all right. But what's this? My
Oh,
cheeseburger backpack has moths in it.
no! It's actually kind of comically funny. Like, you say you're out of money, and then a bunch of moths come out of it, but they're like mad at you because they thought it was a real cheeseburger.
You know what? Yeah.
Well, anyway, I'm Chance Panda, but right now I'm the Alter Wraith. Uh, that's about the end of that. And this is Alex. And today we are watching Season 1, Episode 3, Cheeseburger Backpack. Let's do a very quick synopsis. At the start of the episode, Steven is waiting for his secret surefire way to get in on a new crystal gem adventure, which the mailman, the best character in the show, who I immediately forget his name, isn't it Jamie? Or what?
Jamie.
Yeah, his name is Jamie. Uh, delivers his most important and prized tool, a cheeseburger backpack, and that's about it, really. Uh, and then the gems come back, and they need to. What would you say? I guess it would be preserve a piece of gem history. They confirm that
Yeah.
gems have been here for a while. If you want to talk about that, Alex.
They basically are trying to save a gem spiral tower housed in the middle of the ocean, which is incredibly unusual for this show, and I believe the only time it ever happens because
I forget, so I'm
the
going to
nature of
trust
the
you blindly.
gems, yeah, the nature of the gems will be revealed to be a lot more sinister as the show lives. So this is a standout episode in the first season for being the only time in the show where they are actively trying to preserve gem earth culture.
And they did such a good job at it. Uh,
Sure.
I believe it was a moonstone goddess statue
Yeah.
of some guy, which
Yeah.
does also bring implications, but I don't actually think like does anything in the long run. So we're just gonna ignore the goddess part of that. And they basically just got to put it in the right place to Legend of Zelda it together. Steven now truly becoming the give someone a hammer, everything starts looking like nails, uses his cheeseburger backpack to the fullest.
Oh
And
my god, that's quite a name for Steven.
yeah, full title, weird universe we live in. Like he basically wishes to bring the crystal statue to the spiral tower and save the day. And what happens is when they get there, it has a bunch of trials because it's gem culture, even though it's a very dilapidated, abandoned ancient temple. He Stephen, using all the things he packed, actually manages to get past some trials and tribulations using, say, tying a bunch of shirts together like a rope or other things. Um, we'll get to the point where I thought something was cute about it, but basically, he wins some, he loses some. Some of his things don't work, but others do. And at the end, it's revealed that Stephen, in typical middle schooler reaching into his backpack fashion, realizes he forgot his homework and forgot the statue at home on his bed. So in that very last moment, he sacrifices the only thing he has, a doll called Mr. Queasy, which groans and complains every time you jostle him, uh, to replace the statue instead. Mr. Queasy lifts into the air. Uh, I can only be described as yelling from gyration and then immediately explodes. And then
It
the
was
temple
one of
collapses.
the
Yeah,
highlight moments of the show, the little doll screaming and then exploding into fluff and stuff.
like it's all for fun and games. And rip in peace, Mr. Queasy. He didn't die for our sins. He basically died for no reason. But then the temple basically collapses in on itself. So Steven has, like, as Amethyst put it, 2 for 4, which Steven feels bad about, that he tried to do his best around the gems and failed so much. But the other gems try to cheer him up by saying, well, you still got 50%, which is more than we thought you'd get, which that is not the words they used. And I just said it in a much more cynical way, but that's basically the message of the episode as they have to paddle back home on a raft
In the
that
raft at Steven's backpack house, so it's actually 3 out of 4. So maybe he isn't a useless piece of garbage after all.
Okay, wow. Well, now that we said all of that, let's talk about the episode. There's one thing I wanted to know is that if only I got a good look at the names who did this. Would you say that there was a lot of off-model exaggeration of the characters this episode that I
Yes.
noticed? Okay,
Yes.
just wanted to take a note of that. It's not as serious. It's not like I'm not saying it as a critique. It's obviously more of a
Oh, no, I
stylistic
don't
thing.
think either of us are saying that as a critique. I think for this specific episode, it really works because nothing really happens in it. Like, if there's an episode where you should exaggerate expressions for comedic effect, it should ideally be in a nothing episode like this. And I'm not saying a nothing episode as in it's a bad episode, but objectively speaking, nothing really happens in it. It's just an episode meant to. It's an episode that is firmly meant as an adventure to further characterize the main characters, which I think it succeeds at. So I'm not
Yeah,
being
and
mean when I
also,
call it a nothing episode. But
oh, that's
objectively
fair.
speaking, nothing happened in it.
Well, Pearl made a lot of funny faces, so I like to think something happened. But
Well, they
yeah,
also had very nice voice acting, so
no, it's
something
fair.
happened. The voice acting was actually very good.
Yeah, no, I did like it. I like how I didn't actually write down Moonstone statue. I actually wrote MacGuffin statue, so
MacGuffin.
that's fun.
Well, that it's funny. I think this is the one anti-MacGuffin in media that I've seen that I will remember and then forget about once we watch more episodes of the show. But
Yeah,
that's pretty cool that it was an anti-MacGuffin.
yeah. Brought the wrong key. I don't know. One thing I did like about this episode actually is, and we had a very long discussion about this, so we paused the episode for this. Is Steven is surprisingly able to be intuitive and like trying to overcome challenges using creativity and stuff like that, and I actually like how it's presented in this episode with the gems. I would say trying to cheer him on, like mothers encouraging an enthusiastic child with what they're doing, and like with the the title's Cheeseburger Backpack. It's not actually that amazing, but I do think it's cute how like Pearl and Amethyst were cheering on Steven using the Cheeseburger Backpack. It feels like a family situation, you know, and I actually like that.
Yeah,
We went further into this. I also appreciate how Steven does not actually solve all the problems in the episode. Like,
appreciate this while you have it because pretty soon this will not be the case anymore.
yes, I again I'll have to revisit, so I'm gonna see. But we had this long conversation in between about like Steven solving all the problems, and then I said something like, "Okay, now play the episode again. I bet Steven's gonna throw a raft in this." Forget that word. Steven's gonna throw a raft and immediately explode or something, and then he threw a raft into like a river, and then it immediately fell off a cliff and exploded. Well, not exploded, but you know what I mean. The whole point is that he was having a winning streak, and it failed spectacularly. But the point is that you still tried, and you still tried to have good ideas, and you managed to the best of your abilities. And
Yes.
I like how the crystal gems like need to rely on each other, and like how they're giving Steven a chance this time around. Yeah.
Yeah, we basically had a long old conversation about how do I say this? The direction
It's
that the show will take and the nature of its presentation. not being flattering to the gems the more the series goes on. But we will get there when we get there, and there's no reason to go into a huge diegesis about it now. The only thing
It's
I'm really going to say about it is that I didn't talk about Greg much in the last episode for a reason.
no, yeah, that's fair. I mean, well, says that it's probably we'll see more of what we're feeling as we go on with the actual episodes, and we'll see where we are. What do we have any other thoughts about this episode? Actually, I thought it was interesting how they mentioned that this was ancient historical culture of gems. And obviously, it's dilapidated and run down and like garbage and all that. You could tell how hard I'm avoiding trying to swear right now because I'm the alter in this system who swears like nobody's business. I'm trying so hard to be respectful. I already failed once, but I want to try at
Switch
least.
alters then. Do it.
No, no,
Do
that
it.
defeats the whole purpose.
Switch alters on command, Wraith. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Okay.
Right. uh, There's an interesting thought in regards to this show. Anyway, where the heck was I getting to?
We also went on a little thing at the very, very beginning about how Jamie was the best character.
I really like Jamie. Like, unironically, I think Jamie's actually really funny. Where he's just like some guy trying to be an actor, and all this nonsense is. It's kind of it's almost funnier than like Greg reacting poorly to the gems. Like,
Actually, you know what? Y'all are right about this, and I'm gonna call it here. Jamie is the best human character in this show. He just is.
Bold claim.
In fact, he's kind of the only one who needs to exist, if you want me to be totally honest. That's how entertaining he is. Sorry, Connie, but they kind of fumbled the bag with you.
Oh, sure, whoever that is, I don't know. I almost swear
I probably
again.
shouldn't
God.
I probably shouldn't have even mentioned Connie yet, but I think
swear.
it is. It's okay, Wraith. It's okay.
Ah, jeez.
No, it's all right. We will. I probably shouldn't have brought this up yet, but Connie, we'll get to her when we get to her. They fumbled the bag.
Let's just get there when we get there. And I'm going to keep attempting to not swear as best as humanly possible. I'm such a good demon alter. I respect the rules. That's what we demon alters do.
You can just censor it out in editing.
Yeah, but you gotta, like, go through the whole episode and stuff like that. And also there was a really funny moment right there where I said like I wasn't to swear, and like part of the exclamation of complaining about not swearing involved a swear, and then I immediately screamed because I swore.
Yeah, I heard.
Well, that's fun. I'm doing a really good job at this so far. But yes, like a piece of history, sometimes the things we build just happen to crumble, despite our best efforts. And maybe we have to respect that that happened. Much like Mr. Queasy, much like the Spire, and much like our YouTube revenue.
Oh my god. Alright, is there anything else you wanted to say? Y'all wanted to say?
No, we kind of said our feet. Like we said, it wasn't a nothing episode. It just did its job on like characterizing everyone that we've kind of already seen a lot of their characters before.
I'm being kind of mean when I call it a nothing episode. I don't say it because I hate it. It's just in regards to the overall plot of the show, it doesn't advance it. It's just more for the characters. I should call it more a character development piece than anything else. Especially considering that I won't be able to be much kinder to this show the more seasons we go in.
Lovely. I will say I do appreciate that sort of like Steven's first real outing with the gems. So I do actually appreciate it on that front. And I think the reason why we're talking about that is we're so used to seeing Steven go on missions with the gems that we like take this episode for granted, if that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna appreciate this episode for what it is, and I'm going to attempt to stop swearing.
Well, I hope you are successful in your endeavors, Wraith. All right,
Thank you
I
so
think we should
much.
call it here.
All right, goodbye, everybody. And remember, don't be queasy.
Don't be queasy.
Bye bye.
Bye.
If I could begin to be half of what you think of me, I could do about anything. I could even learn how to love like you.